Welcome to our channel, where we update the most exciting, surprising, and dramatic developments of the young and the restless. Here, we not only bring the hottest details and the most realistic settings, making you excited until the last minute. And today, a shocking story will be revealed. A secret buried for 2 decades is about to be unearthed, leading to a series of consequences that no one in the Newman family could have expected. Victoria has not really found peace since Clare entered her life. The feelings between the two women are sometimes close, sometimes distant, sometimes gentle, sometimes tense, as if there is an invisible string between them that is binding and at the same time pushing them apart. After efforts to rebuild trust, Victoria begins to feel that Clare is her second chance in life, a compensation after too many failures, from work to love. But she had no idea that behind Clare's quiet gaze was a jumble of emotions that even Clare herself could not explain. One rainy afternoon in September, while Victoria was working in the office, she received an anonymous call. On the other end of the line was a strange female voice, cold and devoid of any emotion, leaving only one message. "If you want to know the truth about Clare, come to an abandoned house on the southern edge of Genoa City. Don't bring anyone, don't call the police." Then there was a blunt click and the signal was cut off. A feeling of unease crept into Victoria's heart, but her maternal instinct forced her to go. Without thinking, without telling Cole, she got in the car and drove away in the increasingly heavy rain. The abandoned house appeared dimly among the dry trees as if it had been long forgotten by the world. No lights, no people, no signs of life. But Victoria knew. What awaited her inside was not a person, but a truth that was about to shatter everything she had ever believed in. The only room left intact was the ground floor. The door was ajar as if someone had left it there on purpose. On the rotten wooden table, there was an old, dusty tin box. Victoria opened the lid and her heart stopped when she saw inside was a medical file from the Swiss hospital where she had given birth 20 years ago. Her name, Cole's name, and a DNA test that had been done but kept secret for 2 decades. Clare was her and Cole's biological daughter. Not a miscegenation, not an adoption, but a switch shortly after she had given birth. Victoria was stunned, her legs shaking so much she could barely stand. The dim memories of that time came flooding back. She recalled the difficult birth, the unfamiliar nurses, the strange eyes of a European-American doctor named Jordan. Jordan, who had recently appeared in Clare's life as a threat, turned out to be the one who had orchestrated the entire plot to steal her child from the very beginning. But things didn't stop there. In the file, there was another handwritten letter, unsigned, but full of malice and coldness, revealing a name that struck Victoria like lightning: Audra. The woman she had trusted and supported at Newman Media, the woman who had shown loyalty and cunning many times in front of Victor, turned out to be Jordan's extended arm. Not only did Audra help fake Clare's identity, she was also the one who directly manipulated the documents, creating a perfect puppet named Clare to bring into the Newman family. Victoria clutched the letter in her hand, her heart pounding so hard it felt like it was about to burst. Each word was like a knife stabbing deep into her heart. Audra did not act for money. It was not about power or personal ambition. Audra's only target was Victor, the man the Newman family had always worshipped, the father she had admired and feared, and now the cause of this whole bloody feud. In the past, a business deal that seemed like a small blemish to the Newman Corporation had destroyed Audra's entire family. Her father committed suicide due to bankruptcy, her mother went insane and eventually died in a mental hospital in Arizona. She vowed that one day, Victor would experience loss, betrayal and collapse, not from the outside, but from within the empire he had built. With the support of Jordan, who used to be Audra's mother's psychiatrist, the two secretly plan revenge. And the most ideal card they find is Clare, a child who was swapped, brainwashed by Jordan's hand throughout her childhood. She was trained to not know who she is, without roots, without love, only with a programmed mission, to approach the Newman family, especially Victoria, to sow chaos and tear apart trust. Jordan knows very well that Clare's psychology, torn between wanting to be loved and self-doubt, is the most effective weapon to destroy Victoria's heart little by little. Just when Victoria is falling into a state of extreme panic, a slight noise comes from behind the slightly open wooden door. It's none other than Clare, the girl she just learned to trust, standing there, motionless like a stone statue. Clare's face was pale, tears streaming down like a broken dam. She had heard everything. Every word, every detail was like 1,000 knives cutting deep into her already wounded heart. Clare didn't know who she was anymore. She was no longer Jordan's tool. Nor was she Clare Grace, the name she had been called. She was Victoria's daughter, a biological mother who had never properly held her. But could maternal love overcome all the lies, all the wounds left behind? Clare turned and ran away from the abandoned house like a shadow in the night. Victoria called her name in vain, her voice hoarse with panic and indescribable pain. The rain continued to fall, cold and cruel, as if slapping at every broken emotion in that mother's heart. She collapsed, her hands clutching the DNA file and the letter, her mouth repeating the same name over and over again, Clare. At the same time, in a dark corner of the abandoned house, Audra stood silently observing from afar through binoculars. She did not tremble, did not regret, did not waver. Her eyes were cold as steel, dry as if she no longer knew tears. The plan was on track. Jordan had switched the child. She had planted Clare in the Newman family. Victoria had collapsed. Every link in that family was falling apart little by little, and with just a slight push, the empire Victor had built would collapse like a sandcastle before a storm. But Audra also understood that when the truth was exposed too soon, there would be variables beyond calculation. She did not expect Clare to be able to find out the truth so soon. And she did not expect that Clare, a child who had been trained to be emotionless, could shed tears for someone like Victoria. That was dangerous. Emotion is the only thing that can deflect the trajectory of the rage that Audra has been harboring for years. She must act faster. More decisively. In another development, Jordan, the woman wanted for the crimes against the Newmans, is still hiding in an old nursing home without anyone suspecting. Under the guise of an old nurse, she still monitors every development from afar, through the recording devices and mini cameras installed in the abandoned house. Her plan is not simply revenge. She wants to prove that people like the Newmans, no matter how powerful, cannot escape the truth. Jordan once vowed not to die until she saw Victoria have to choose between motherhood and reputation, between love and reason, between saving her daughter or protecting the Newman Corporation. Clare ran in the rain, her legs numb, her heart about to explode. She didn't know where to go, didn't know who to trust. Every memory associated with Jordan now becomes a horrible fragment. Every lesson, every teaching from Jordan is now just a tool of manipulation to turn her into a living puppet. And when the truth is revealed that Victoria is her biological mother, Clare can't bear it anymore. Is it true? Is it false? She no longer knows where the limit is between love and hate, between truth and lies. Meanwhile, Victoria returns home with a broken heart. She doesn't tell anyone, doesn't share with Cole or Victor. She knows that, once she speaks out, the family will collapse completely. But that silence is just a thin layer of ice covering the storm that is gradually forming behind. She must find Clare. She must save her child. Not to atone for her sins, but to free both of them. And deep in the heart of Genoa City, an earthquake is brewing. When secrets are exposed, when trust is broken, and when blood becomes a tool for hatred, all boundaries between right and wrong, good and evil will soon collapse.